So the first thing I'm going to work on here is the classification of matter and how we classify matter. So we want to remember that we can classify matter as either a pure substance or a mixture. Now, pure substances are going to be found on the periodic table, or they're a combination of two or more elements that are found on the periodic table. So pure substances, we can't break them down by any sort of physical means. So when I have a pure substance like an atom of an element, or if I have a molecule of an element, I would need to have some sort of chemical reaction occur in order to break that down into anything more simple than an atom. So atoms and molecules are kind of in the simplest phase, the simplest state of matter. All matter is made up of atoms. So everything around us is made up of matter. The only thing that's not made up of matter are things like energy. That would include things like light and sound. And so when we have pure substances, we can either have an element, which is found on the periodic table. So a lot of times we're going to look for the symbol for that particular element. And when we look on the periodic table, a symbol will always have one capital letter. Sometimes symbols like chromium have one capital letter and one lowercase letter, or titanium would be another example of that. Now, compounds, we're going to know it's a compound and that there are several pieces in the single molecule that are different elements by looking at things like the way that the formula is written for it. For example, H2O. H2O has hydrogen and oxygen bonded together. And again, I can't do anything physical to separate the hydrogen from the oxygen. I would need a chemical reaction to separate the two of those. And so when we have a compound, we have to have two or more different elements. So with carbon dioxide would be another example. We've got carbon and oxygen bonded to each other. And we've got one carbon atom and two oxygen atoms. Now for mixtures, mixtures can be physically separated. And physically separated means that we can do a couple of different things to separate them. We could use tweezers to separate the materials. We could filter one material out. We could use a sieve to separate the larger materials from the smaller materials. We could boil off the liquid so that then we're just left with the solid maybe that was dissolved in the mixture. So those are all physical means of separating a mixture. Mixtures are going to be made of two or more different materials. When I have a homogeneous mixture means I can't see the different components. So some good examples are salt water and sugar water. Heterogeneous mixtures, I can see the different components. So some good examples of heterogeneous mixtures would be something like orange juice with the pulp that has, I can see the pulp in it, or even muddy water. I can see all the mud floating around in the water. So when I draw a mixture, I have to show that there are different particles, different materials that are in the mixture. Whereas if I draw an element, I could have just a single atom of an element, or I could have a molecule of an element. And then when I draw a compound, I would need to have two different atoms, and they would need to be bonded to each other to show that they are together in a single molecule. Like if I drew water, I would draw water with one hydrogen atom, or two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom to it. Let's look now at physical changes and physical properties. When something is a physical property, they are usually qualities or qualitative observations. So they're things that we can see. Often it involves things like the color of the material, the luster, the density of a material. It also can include things such as boiling temperature, freezing temperature. Phase changes are not going to be chemical. Phase changes are going to be physical changes. Because in this image here, you can see that if I start with liquid water and I go through a phase change for that liquid water and I have water as a gas, which is called water vapor, that is, I still have the same molecules here. So physically, I do not have anything different. So when we think about physical changes and physical properties, we want to think about if those atoms or molecules have rearranged. If they haven't, then it is only a physical change. If we think about some things like salt dissolving, the salt is still there, we just can't see the large crystals anymore. The crystals have spread out amongst the water molecules and they're so small. So salt dissolving in water is simply a physical change. The salt and the water have not bonded together. We have no new materials. We still have salt and we have water. If we cut our hair, that also is a physical change. There's no chemical reaction that occurs when we cut a piece of our hair. So physical changes, again, are only going to be things that we're changing a quality, usually that we can see, might be able to taste if you were to taste salt water. But physical changes are not things that the atoms and molecules are changing into anything different. The substances, the atoms, the compounds are still the same atoms and compounds that were there originally. Let's talk next about chemical changes. The big thing that we should notice in this image is that when we have a chemical change, the atoms are actually breaking apart their bonds that they originally have, and they're going to form new bonds so that the materials that we have at the beginning and the materials that we have at the end are different from one another. So you can see that in this image, we've got two oxygen molecules or two hydrogen molecules and one oxygen molecule. And for those molecules, when we have the chemical reaction occur, they're no longer bonded to each other, and instead we have two hydrogens bonded to a single oxygen. So again, what we can't see happening when we have a chemical change is that those atoms are breaking apart and they are forming new bonds to form new materials. So some examples of chemical changes would be something like rusting. When iron rusts, it actually has a bond with oxygen, and the new compound is iron oxide. If we have something like we burn a piece of wood, that piece of wood is being changed into new molecules. Some of those molecules are gas molecules that are given off as smoke. Some of those molecules are changed into different carbon compounds that end up in the ash. So when we have a chemical change, we have to stop and think, do we have a new material? And because we can't actually see the atoms doing all of this, we look for four main pieces of evidence. We look for the formation of a gas. We look for the formation of a precipitate. We look for the formation of a new solid material. That's your precipitate. We feel for any energy changing. Does the material feel hot or does it feel cold? And we also look for color changes, but we do want to be careful with color change because something like making Kool-Aid and pouring that Kool-Aid mix into water, that's not a chemical change. Even though we see that color changing, that's a physical change because that Kool-Aid is just dissolving. So we do have to be a little bit careful with color changes. The last thing that I want to talk about is going to be the phase changes. We want to make sure that we can display with drawings how molecules change their energy and their spacing when they are in each of the different states of matter, solids, liquids, and gases. We also want to make sure that we can understand what happens when something undergoes a phase change. So if we're looking at something like this graph here, we should be able to understand when the material is in the solid state, when it is in the liquid state, and when it is in the gas state. We should also understand that throughout this entire time, energy is being added to the material. But when the material is going through a phase change, we don't see a change in temperature. So we look for those plateaus to know when something has reached its boiling or condensation point. We look for those plateaus to know when something is reaching its melting or freezing point. During the time when a material is in that phase change, when it is going through that phase change of melting or freezing, During that time, we're going to have both solid material and liquid material. When we're going through the phase change of boiling and condensation, we're going to have both states of matter at that time. We're going to have both the gas state and the liquid state. And until all of the molecules have boiled off, the temperature will remain the same. If I collect that gas, then I can start increasing the temperature of that gas again, and I've got all gas with the temperature increasing at that point.